Good evening, welcome to Four Lads, Rangers Monday Night Live podcast with myself, Stevie, and the original OG, the one and only Kenny. How are you, mate? You well?
I'm not bad, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good. Good, thank you. Very good, actually. Good. So, listen, ladies and gentlemen, Kenny has done magnificently well to get an agenda together for tonight. So we've got quite a few things to talk about in a night where I genuinely didn't think, well, we're too bright a wee minute. That's better. A big shiny ball head off your screens, folks. Sorry about that. I didn't think we'd have too much to talk about, and Kenny's managed to get together quite a good wee agenda. So we've got a few things to talk about. We'll talk about Lawrence Shankland first of all, Kenny. Another fantastic goal for Scotland at the weekend. In a weekend that Scotland announced herself as favourites to win the World Cup. Shankland was there with a header to open the scoring and also an assist for Scott McTominay. Listen, you know that I've spent a long time going on about Lawrence Shankland, but we've had a little taste of him in these last couple of Scotland games. 3 goals, couple of assists. I'm excited, genuinely excited that Lawrence Shankland is at Rangers. Probably the perfect first signing, but he's on his showings for Scotland. You can't help but be hopeful and impressed.
Yeah, of course. It's 3 goals in 2 games and an assist, and he's done really well, Stevie. He's played well. His wee layoff for McTominay is fantastic. It's right into his path, and Scott McTominay does really well with it. But I'm just excited to see him get to Ibrox eventually. You know, sat and watched the game with my mate on Saturday night, and a quick kind of scenario for you. I've decided I'm going to go to the cinema on Thursday night at the time of the first game, and I'm going to watch it back because I'll watch it in a delayed, if you like, because I thought I don't want to sit and listen to all these English commentators telling, let's go to the England camp and let's do this and talk about England. And I thought I can't be bothered with that. So Saturday night, I listened to Liam McLeod tell us that Brazil and Morocco are going to be terrified all of a sudden. And you're like, wind it in, man. It's exactly what we complain about with the English TV down there, you know. Neither Morocco or Brazil will be terrifying of us whatsoever. But it's exciting, and I'm looking forward to the World Cup now. I always feel that I like the tournament football. When it comes thick and fast, it's brilliant fun. But we'll see how Scotland do. As I say, there's 4 Scots in our squad, in the Scotland squad. So it's great to see them all getting kind of game time and stuff like that over the last couple of games, Stevie. And it bodes well for us that they're all going to get that experience at the World Cup. And Shankland has been the pick of the bunch so far. So we're really excited to see him, or ultimately, eventually see him turn up at Ibrox and see what he can do for us.
Yeah, I agree, Andrew. Brazil aren't the same Brazil, to be fair. We'll pump them. It should be an easy victory for the Scots, I think. Kenny, good also to see Finlay Curtis come on and get more. I am absolutely delighted that Finlay Curtis is going to the World Cup because it's just experience for a young lad. He's done brilliantly at Kilmarnock. He's got game times. He looks like he's maturing. And I'm delighted to see him go to the World Cup and get that experience. He should. By the way, I also think that he should be playing games. And that's not just on me being biased and saying I think that Finlay Curtis has got a real chance of playing for Scotland and making an impact.
I think he will make an impact, and I do think he'll get game time. Whether he starts games or not, I'm not quite sure. That's up to Steve Clarke. But Clarke has clearly taken a kind of shine to him because he's given him lots of minutes, Stevie. And we, as a support, were a little bit disappointed in January to see him go because we felt he could do a job for us. Went down to Kilmarnock, proved that, got himself into this squad. We know that Danny Röhl is going to have him in our squad, for next season. And this can only serve a young man like that really well. It's going to give him such an incredible experience. And the intensity that a World Cup is, and that closed environment that that being in a camp like that gives you. It's absolutely fantastic for the young man, and I agree with you. I actually look at it and I think, he could do a job on either side, and he can come inside from either flank and do a job for Scotland, and he is an option because they've got the young boy Ben Doak, or Ben Gannon Doak as he calls now, who's got bags of pace, but they don't have huge amounts of options on those sides. So I fully expect Finlay to get a lot of game time over the 3 games. I would expect him, if he doesn't start the first one, I expect him to start the second or the third one, if you know what I mean. I don't see anybody trying to play, a player in that position in every game. So I expect him to get plenty of minutes, Stevie. And as I say, it can only be good for us that he can go and play against the very, very highest level. If he goes and plays against Morocco, it's the boy Hakimi who's going to play, who's probably the best right back in the world. What an experience that's going to be for him. So it's fantastic for us. And as I say, good for the boy. I'm delighted for him.
When was the last time a Rangers player scored at a World Cup finals? I remember Cloystey obviously scored at the Euros in '96 against Switzerland, but somebody might be able to tell me. I hope it's not a really obvious answer, but I think Finlay Curtis, Kenny, could be the next Rangers player to score at a World Cup finals. Nico's obviously there as well. Tello Asgard is there. I'm not sure Liam Kelly is odds on to pitch in with a goal, but yeah, Albert's 11 suggests Mo Johnston. That would have probably been what, are we back in 90? Italian 90, would that have been? Stuart McCall,
right, yeah.
Stuart McCall at Italian 90. I don't think McCall played for us yet. McCall did score though, didn't he? Against Sweden.
He did. He scored. Was it Mo Johnston scored against Sweden as well, if I remember right?
Aye, so well done to Albert's, and that's the one that seems to be the answer. I didn't know. So you're having to go way back to the 90s to see that. That's incredible. Excuse me. Kenny, it wouldn't have been Johnson scored after McCall, multiple man said. So aye, there you go. But I don't think Stuart McCall was playing for Rangers at that point, because he would have signed for Rangers just after, wouldn't he? After Walter took
91.
over. 91.
Not 91 he signed.
Aye, so okay. Kenny, moving on. Danny Röhl has been speaking to German press, and he's been talking about Ryan Naderi and predicts him to have a big season. Injuries have kind of hampered him, and I think we lost so much from Ryan Naderi being injured to Rangers press. Röhl's compared him to Thomas Muller in regard to the way he can make space for himself and how he plays. I would love to think that Ryan Naderi is going to have a big season next year. He's a player that I like. Do we get enough goals out of him? I'm not too sure. Do we get enough goals out of anyone, really? I think Ryan Naderi is going to be a key player, but is he starting ahead of Chermiti and Shankland? I'm not so sure. I think Shankland and Chermiti is away. Now, somebody had a go at me last week and said, I don't understand why you wouldn't play Shankland as a 9. Of course you would, but I just think Shankland is slightly better as he drops deep. Now, I'm not saying that I would play him as a 10. When I talk about him as being a 10, Kenny, I mean a 10 in the 2 up front, like McCoy's Tately 9-10 kind of partnership. I expect Shankland to sit and do the build up and arrive in the box late, whereas I think that Chermiti should focus his game on being round the box and being able to drive and run the box. So for Ryan Naderi, he's going to have to perform, which I think gives us great quality and great strength up front. I really think with Naderi, Miovski, Shankland and Chermiti, you've got a strike force there.
I would call that position the secondary striker, if you like. The one that does as you say, more like the Mark Hateley type job, where he does the build-up work, if you like, and McCoy was there to tap them in, effectively. Now, the wonderful thing that we've got, I was thinking about this today, when you look at Ryan Naderi, Chermiti and Lawrence Shankland, they can all play in both those positions, whether it's the primary or the secondary striker, Stevie. So the only one that I would suggest probably can't do that on the basis of what I've seen last season is Bojan Miovski. I think he's more of a penalty box striker than than any of the other ones, where I think the other three have got more about their game. So it bodes well for us. It depends what Danny's going to do, and Danny Röhl's going to do in terms of the formation that he wants to pick and play. Because if he sticks with the 4-2-2-2, which to me is almost like a 4-4-2, just tweet is all it is, then he's going to need at least 4 strikers, Stevie. That's the simple fact of it. You're not going to get 60 games out of 2 strikers each, so he's going to need plenty of options. On Ryan Naderi, I'm going to steal a bit of your thunder, because you've been saying this and you've been banging on it to me about this a lot, that when he wasn't there, the amount that we lost from our press was unbelievable. It was really obvious that he was the one that was triggering the press a lot. He was leading the press, he was leading the line, and when he wasn't fit, we just didn't quite get that press at all correct. And that's where I think Ryan Naderi is going to be pivotal, because I think Lawrence Shankland can do that, and I think Ryan Naderi can certainly do that. And that's where I agree with you in terms of Shankland playing slightly deeper or slightly behind Yusuf Chermiti, because I think Shankland does that job slightly better from what I've seen with what he's done with Hearts over the last few years. So it bodes well for us, Stevie, because at times we really do struggle with our press, and it's got to be right. And it's something that I reckon that Danny Röhl is fully aware of, that getting that press right more often, or a lot more often than we did manage it last season, is going to be key to us being successful next season.
Yeah, I certainly think that we lost a lot from Naderi, and I would point to that league game against Celtic where Rangers were 2-0 up, and obviously they got one back, and Naderi tired a lot, because we know he was struggling with injuries. He tired a lot, and he came off, and Rangers ultimately, as soon as he came off, McGregor began to dictate that game. And that was a game Kenny and we were at that game and sitting next to each other, and that was something I picked up on straight away, and they did actually pen us in, and you know what happened in the end. Ryan Naderi to me is the kind of player that I don't expect 25 goals from. I expect Ryan Naderi to pitch in with 12 to 15, almost, your kind of secondary type striker. I think that's Ryan Naderi's position. When he first came in, I thought he would be great at leading the line, but he doesn't seem to play that way at all. And yeah, I think that's secondary striker for Ryan Naderi, Kenny, is where I see him.
Yeah, probably, but that's my point. I think that when you look at him, Chermiti and Shankland, they can all play in both those primary and secondary striker roles. I thought Ryan Naderi, I can't remember what game it was, mate. There was one game in particular where he did play. It was a midweek game, and I honestly can't remember what it was. But he played as the sole number 9, and I actually thought he did all right up at Ibrox. But I'm with you on that. I do think he is the guy that will be that secondary striker, or the deeper role, the number 10 kind of role that the striker's going to play. But as I say, for me, more than anything else, it kind of bodes well for us that we have those options. And we're going to talk about Yusuf Chermiti, but if he's here next season, then I'm quietly confident that we will score a lot of goals next season. So it's what we do, it's signing wise elsewhere, that's going to determine how well we do.
Yeah, it certainly is. Moving on from that, before we get to the transfer chatter, there has been a lot of interesting rumours. As such, Kenny, Rangers revealed their new away kit on Friday morning. Your thoughts, please?
Not much, mate. I don't like it. It's not that I haven't seen. Listen, to be fair, I haven't seen it with my own eyes yet. And news a lot of the time pictures of it on your phone don't do it any justice. However, I'm not impressed with that. To me, it's almost like a training top with a sponsor stuck on it. It's just a little bit too plain for my liking. But as I say, being fair, I haven't seen it yet. I've seen the shadowing around the badge and the Umbro logo, and I'm not sure about that. I'd need to see it in the flesh, mate. But on first impressions, I'm not impressed. I genuinely am not. I find it really quite bland and a little bit meh. And I know you've got it, and you'll be better placed to tell us how it is and how it looks. But as I say, I haven't seen it yet with my own eyes, so it's not. To be fair, mate, I'm 56, and I'm an old-fashioned guy, and I don't have the body or the physique now to wear football tops. So it's not particularly geared towards me, put it that way. But as I say, I still take that interest. But primarily, it's white. That's a bonus. I always feel that, you know, we should have 3 kits, and there should be red, white, and blue being the home kit, and that's where I'm at with it. But we'll wait and see. We'll need to wait and see it in the flesh, or with my own eyes, because the pictures I'm not been impressed with at all.
Well, listen. What can I say about it? I was trying to bring up a picture there, but I can't get it saved. So I'm going to keep working on that, because I believe there's a picture that actually shows it in a much better light than what we kind of expect from it. I'm still going to try and get this picture, because I do think that it's a nicer one. I'm going to bring it up, and I look, here's the thing, right? And honestly, this is what I truly believe. And I think the thing is, when you do this podcast, you need to be brave enough to give your own opinion, and you need to stick by it and stuff like that. I like it, right? And it is very plain, and it is very bland. But I'm also 42-year-old, and I come from a generation where home top should be blue, the away top should be white, and the third top should be red. And we are red, white, and blue. That's where it is. This one, I think that there is a legitimate claim for it to be something else to be added from it, Kenny. And I think it's just missing something. So I'm going to get this picture up. I'm going to get you and natter on for 2 minutes about it, and I'm going to bring the picture up, because there is certain pictures that makes it look better than the other. So bear with me just 1 second. And by the way, £85 when it comes to families and everything else is far too much money for it to be asking us to be paying for a top. And I think it's like 120 odd if you want to get the strip for the kids and that. We need to be doing better than that for the supporters.
Unfortunately, mate, the price is just the price of it these days. You won't get a new football top for any less than 75, 80, 85 quid. It is just the going rate. So I understand that the problem that people have. My kids are older, so thank goodness for that, if you know what I mean. But if you are a young family and you've got 3 kids and you're indoctrinating them into Rangers, that's costing you an arm and a leg, mate, and it's not fair. However, as I say, Rangers are no different from any other football club in this, so I'm not going to criticise them on the cost of it. I'm like you. I actually think it's just a little bit too plain, the top. That's my issue for an away kit. I really liked the white kit last year. Thought it was lovely. I liked it. It was a white kit the year before as well. Loved that. And I'm not impressed with this one at all. I just think there's nothing to it. But again, I have to see it in the flesh. And again, if that's the best picture, then I mean, fair enough. But again,
right. So here's the thing for me, right? I think socks and shorts have got spot on That's a throwback to the away shorts they had in the 80s with that. All they had to do, in my opinion, right, see this wee red stripe? Just put it right down there and put it down the other side. And I don't think you would have had anyone complaining about it in the slightest. All it took was an extra additional kind of redness to the side, and you would have not taken anything away, and the top would have been spot on. I actually really like the top. I've got the top. I think it's nice, but I can absolutely understand everybody saying that it's too plain for some people. But here's the thing. If some people are going to say it's too plain, some people are going to say it's absolutely perfect. You're never going to get, and especially Rangers, as we're so, I don't even know the word. Like, we can't agree on the colour of shite. Basically, that's our problem as a sport. And I think that I genuinely think if people see it in person and they see what it's like, I've seen the bits with the badges and stuff like that. My top doesn't have that, so I'm not sure whether it was a batch of them or it's all of them. I really don't know. I do think, and I'll say again, £85 is too much money. But I think when you see the strip like that, I think the strip looks really good. It'll look good in the players. Listen, as we said at the back, at the back of the show, Kenny, that, you know, like, I'm 42 with saggy man boobs and everything else. Like, I'm not going to look good in a football top, which is why I don't wear them. But with regards to these, like, it's fine. It's just, it is what it is. Some people are going to like it. Some people are not going to like it. And I understand completely why. But I will say one thing. Jesus, the players looked miserable when they were modelling it. Could they not have? Like, Gassama looked like he was getting held hostage. He looks like I do at my work. What's going on? Like, and I'm joking, I like my work. But, you know, I just think they could have done better all round, couldn't they? Just and how they've done it. And by the way, home top should come first. Home top, away top, third top. Put the away top out first is a bit question marks and the rumours and all that kind of stuff.
Aye, bringing the second top out or the away top out first is just a load of bollocks. It's just a gimmick, and I can't be bothered with it. Yeah, it's the blue kit you want to see, and I've seen the blue kit, and it's fantastic. That's the thing; it is absolutely brilliant. So I think that's where my disappointments came, because I actually almost thought they were just going to reverse it. If you know what I mean, they would just reverse the kind of new home top. And if they did that, it would be absolutely dynamite, trust me. And that's why I think they've just missed a trick. Because ultimately, if you're Rangers, regardless to whether I like it or not, and I look brilliant in everything I wear, Stevie, so I look great in a football top, obviously. But it's not designed for me. But it is one of those things that if you're Rangers, I genuinely believe you're missing a trick. It was almost like do you remember was it the training? No, it was the travel gear last year that they brought out was absolutely disgraceful. And it couldn't have sold well, Stevie. And that's the issue,
I'm
isn't
still
it?
waiting for it to go down to a £5 so I can hoover it up. It's horrendous.
But that's what I mean. It's you're missing a trick and far too often as a football club. And ultimately, without being cheeky about Castor, because they've done a good job for us over the piece. I think it's been a fantastic job they've done. They're missing a trick here. Get it right. Get the first and the second top need to be spot on, because they will sell all season. People will buy them all year, because I don't know. As I say, for me, it's far too close to almost like a training top with a sponsor stuck on it, Steve, and I don't like it for that. But that's that.
This is the thing, right? Four Lads being an affiliate of Castor, we are able to speak to Castor and Umbro and feed them back, and I have done that today. What frustrates me is that they don't get the fans involved. They don't allow like a fan group or even the FAB, the fan advisory board. Why not put it to the fans and let them have a kind of input in it and stuff like that? That's what I would ask for them in the future. And listen, Castor and Umbro have been great with us. We managed to donate £1,100 to charity last year because of what they offer commission wise and everything else. So we can't really say that they haven't been great for us personally, but I do understand people's thoughts. Do you know what I would have liked to have seen? If the home top is what they're saying it is with the pinstripes, I'm like you, why not just reverse it and make it white with blue pinstripes? And everybody would have loved it. So I just think there's a wee kind of mistake there. And then they could have done something else for the third strip. They could have made the third strip the tribute to Ibrox with the bits around it and stuff like that. And people would have accepted it more because they would have seen the kind of home and the way kit's reversed. But it is what it is, Kenny. Needless to say, what it was, by the way, putting that post up on Friday morning was ridiculous. See the abuse I got. I was like, guys, I did
see the abuse you got. It was actually really funny. I thoroughly enjoyed watching it.
Thanks, mate. I was like, I did not make this kit. People were like, oh, this is all about your ego just sticking this up. I was like, what the fuck? It's just an away top. I did not make this top. So yeah, that was a bundle. Cheers for that, Rangers. That was a bundle of laughs. Kenny, moving on. Transfer rumbles continue. First of all, on an incoming name that's been doing the rounds, Hampus Skoglund, the Swedish right back, who many have kind of tipped Rangers being the forward thinkers and the replacement of James Tavernier. Their sporting director, Mikael Helmberg, has come out and said no contact from Rangers at all regarding him. And he's been heavily linked for quite a while, and they're denying any knowledge and any interest from Rangers at all.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, what they're saying is that they have no idea what our interest is because there's been no contact from Rangers to them whatsoever. And him being the sporting director, he would certainly know about that. So if he's telling the truth there, that's an interesting one because who knows what's going on with that? Because I would have thought that he's not in the Sweden squad, is he, for this World Cup? I don't believe he is. So I would have thought that would have been an easier one to get started. No, maybe not over the line already, but gets that started. However, we talked about the boy last week, Stevie. I don't know anything about him. I've seen the videos. I've seen a few YouTube clipped up videos, and he looks fantastic in them. I'm not going to say he is because I have no idea. And I just don't understand it because, for exactly what you're saying, this guy was getting linked before the end of last season, wasn't he? He was, well, when he was saying linked, he was certainly getting talked about. So that's a surprising one to read today, that there's actually been no contact whatsoever as yet. So, but then again, maybe Rangers are I don't know exactly how they go about their business, but maybe they just turn around and do that. Much you want from him, there's the bid. Right, we can go and talk to him, and they get it done quickly. Because I know, where did that man come from? Was it Go Ahead Eagles or something like that? I think it was. And they did turn around and say that Rangers were brilliant to deal with. It was literally like that last season. How much do you want? There's the offer. Can we talk to the player? Yes. And the job was done. The deal was done really quickly. So maybe that is... I always feel that there's no smoke without fire kind of thing when it comes to links. However, the unusual thing for me was that he was quite openly telling everybody, well, I'll address this because we have had no contact from Rangers whatsoever. So, an interesting one because there's no getting away from it, Stevie. We definitely need at least one right back, probably two.
Yeah, but a few comments in the comments. A few comments in the comments. Something. Well, anyway, a few comments in the comments saying that Chris Jack rubbished that last week, which is interesting because Chris will know. I know how Chris will know, and that's interesting one. I haven't spoken to Chris this weekend, so aye. Yeah, what we were told was, and this was something that came from Chris, and Chris has most likely covered it, is there wouldn't be very much happening until the World Cup gets going. So, yeah, we'll just need to keep going and see what we can talk about. Kenny, there was big rumours of Yusuf Chermiti, wanted by Galatasaray, Porto, and a host of other suitors, highly sought after. Rangers value at 25 million plus. I I said a while ago that Rangers wouldn't deal for less than 30 million. So if that is the kind of money, then it's going to be interesting. I'm waiting to see these, but it'd be brilliant if these big bids did come. I think Yusuf Chermiti has been one. We've spoke about him a lot, but what did you make about the links at the weekend? Porto is a name that won't go away.
Porto linked again. Galatasaray linked over the weekend there, towards the end of last week. My understanding is that there's clubs in England, there's clubs in Italy, there's clubs in all over the continent genuinely querying and keeping a tab on this kid. I don't know, Stevie. I don't know what I would do with this, because 25 million is a great profit. It really is. It's fantastic. However, I would be looking at quite a big sell-on clause if it was only to be that. Other than that, you are looking at 30 million, and probably even with a smaller sell-on clause, because I just look at the guy, and again, we have discussed this. See, fine young talents that are, striking talents that you can kind of almost pin your hat on. And I'm not saying you're going to pin your hat on Chermiti, but there is something about this boy that when you look at clubs of the standard of Porto, they don't sign players of that age without good reason, Stevie. They see something that they know they're going to flip this guy in 2 years' time for double the money that they're paid for him. That's what Porto do. It's kind of the way they work. So I talked to a couple of data analysts, and they're all saying that to me about him. That the one thing you can turn around and categorically 100% state about Yusuf Chermiti is his stats are through the roof. His stats are phenomenal. So that's where they're seeing this. And he's got plenty to learn, Steve. His shooting got better in the second half of the season, but still wasn't necessarily what you would expect of a top striker. He's still got loads to go. And that's why I'd be kind of almost loath to sell him this season. Because if we're looking at 25 this season, I genuinely believe he will score 25 plus next season, and you could be looking at 35 next season. And I'm actually being serious about it, because I think the potential in this boy is just unbelievable. But as I say, by all accounts, there is a genuinely huge number of clubs that are wanting to be kept up to date on where we are with him. And yeah, I'm like you. I'm actually, I said last week, 25 before I'd even consider a bid. And then we'll see where we are. But do I particularly want to see him go? No, not really.
I have had a love-hate relationship with him. Does my head in at times. Really does my head in at times. But I did see a lot of promise. I did see a lot of maturing in his game in the last couple of months. Definitely, he did score big goals. He also missed a lot of big chances. Let's not deny that. His one-on-one finishing remains needs a big improvement. I think will happily score an overhead kick or a volley, no problem at all. But one-on-ones need a bit. I think he's shown real balls to play for Rangers, because he was rubbished. Having a striker, being a striker and having a club legend like Ali McCoy's come out and say what he did about him. And Ali was right, by the way. But as a striker, would have been really difficult to accept. And he's bounced back from that spectacularly well. And then to grow and go on to, he only had his second start, didn't he, December the 4th, and he's went on to score 18 goals with that. So listen, I'm with you. I think top teams will look at those stats. They'll look at the type of player he is. It's the type of player he is, being the big, tall, bustly forward. And he does need to fine tune his game. But if you consider that's his first proper season of top flight football and stuff like that, I think we can safely say that if he stayed at Rangers, I would hope that he would kick on. I think we all would. But if you get an offer of 25 million plus 30 million odd, then it has to be with a sell-on clause as well. then I think you've got to look at that. That would be the biggest fee we've ever received, and everything else, wouldn't it? Because Bassey was what, 23 million plus, and we didn't get that because he moved straight away. So they are big rumours, Kenny. The other big rumour that won't go away continues to be Lewis Ferguson. Once again linked with the club. There is this ongoing rumour that Rangers have offered Connor Barron and £10 million for Lewis Ferguson. Promised him captaincy, everything else if he comes back to Rangers. He, again, we spoke, this rumour has been around for a while. It's a rumour that I like. I like Lewis Ferguson. I think he's got the capability and the balls to play for Rangers. He knows what it's all about. He'll want to play for Rangers. Whether or not he would want to play for Rangers at this point is going to be interesting. Whether or not 10 million and Connor Barron would even do it, I've got no idea of how much Bologna value Lewis Ferguson at. But this is one that continues to go on and rumble on. It's going to be the kind of link of the summer, isn't it, Kenny? And we always have one. We always have one player that's linked all the time, and it looks like it's going to be Lewis Ferguson. Again, look, pie in the sky it might be. I would absolutely love Rangers to sign Lewis Ferguson. I think he would be perfect for us.
Yeah, I think he's a good player, Stevie. I'm a little bit wary of going overboard about him because of the nature of the way he plays his football. He is a fantastically good player. There is no getting away from the fact that he would turn up at Rangers and do a fantastic job for us. However, the outlay will determine whether it's worth Rangers pursuing it or not, if you know what I mean. Like if they're looking for 15 million quid, I think that's really quite steep for Lewis Ferguson. Whereas if it's 8, 9, 10, I think that's, with Connor Barron I'm talking about, I think that's realistic. I think that can be done. And I think the captaincy and stuff like that is a fantastic idea. He is a captain. There is no getting away. He's been a captain for most of his days. I mean, if I remember right, he was captain at Aberdeen when he was really young, wasn't he? So, he's got that within him. He's a Rangers man. We all know that. The only thing I would try and say, and we're hearing stories that this might be true and stuff like that. You know that yourself. But the thing about that for me is that this isn't going to happen anytime soon because it's just not going to happen during this World Cup until Scotland are out. So we'll need to kind of put a tin lid on this a little bit because the rumour is not going away. I think it's a no-brainer, to use a term that I know you hate. It's a kind of no-brainer signing for me, though. You know, if you've got Lawrence Shankland there and you've got Lewis Ferguson there, you're beginning to deal with that spine, aren't you? And to get that core and that spine being Rangers men it's a fantastic thing, and it works better even inside the dressing room and day-to-day training when you've got guys like that, in the environment and creating the environment that we need at Rangers, because I genuinely feel, and again, it's something we've discussed over the piece over the last wee while, Stevie, but I genuinely feel we've lost a little bit of that, and we need to get back to that. And that's why Lewis Ferguson, for me, quality player, a leader, a Rangers man, it's a no-brainer. Go and get it done if we can. And as I say, I just don't want to go over the top on the fee on it. So we'll wait and see if it can get done, Stevie. That's all I would try and curb that with.
Yeah, we're going to finish it, Kenny, on a discussion that we've had several times, and we're back to Bailey Rice. It seems that his agency have kind of spoken, didn't they, on Instagram? Talked about him having a really tough year with injuries. Now time to have a really strong pre-season or get ready. They were talking about everything's been ticked off injury-wise. Everything's ticked off for him. Now to have a big couple of weeks training before pre-season, and we're ready to go. And they tagged Rangers in it, which was really interesting because we know that Rangers have got an offer for Bailey Rice. This was something, if people remember, I asked Danny Röhl about this a way back in like kind of March, what we would do with Bailey Rice, and he shut it that he just was not interested. He's like, well, he's not fit, and until he gets fit, we won't discuss it next. And I was like, all right, okay. So it was completely shut down, and there was rumours then that Rangers wanted to keep him and wanted to offer him a contract. I must admit, I was slightly surprised by the agents posting that. That seems to indicate to me that if they're being so blasé about posting that his future does seem to be with Rangers. And then it goes back to the age-old thing that we've discussed. If you keep him, you have to play him. And if you're keeping him and you're not playing him, he's just going to stagnate. So we need to make sure we get a good loan to... And the obvious one that springs to mind is Kilmarnock, and people maybe saying don't put them down there because of the pitch. As far as I'm aware, in the pictures I've seen, they're digging their pitch up and putting grass down, as far as I'm aware, this season, Kelly. So with McCann there and things like that, I think Bailey Rice going to Kilmarnock would be an excellent move. He's had a tough year, Bailey Rice. I've said it before and I'll continue to say it. There's talent there, but I think he's got to want it, which at times I've watched him and maybe not been sure of. And two, we've got to help nurture him. I think that's the best way, Kenny, for me to sum this whole situation up. Keep him, you have to utilise him.
Yes, exactly. And we've had a number of discussions about Bailey Rice, and listen, the boy's a good football player. Nobody is disputing the fact that he's a good football player. However, he has stagnated. He has not progressed at the rate that we would have expected him to, when you consider that other players in that age group have now progressed farther than he has, or more quickly than he has. And that is the kind of issue that us as supporters, or us as a podcast, if you want to call it that, have got about Bailey Rice. And it's exactly what you've just said. It is exactly where I am with it as well. It's spot on. But you look at it and say, well, is he going to be in the first team squad, and how many minutes is he going to get? Now, if he's going to be in the first team squad and he's going to rotate the midfield, 5 or 6 or whatever it is he's got, and he's been promised game time, I don't mind that, because there will be games where we're going to have to rotate, and Bailey Rice is more than capable. We've seen that down at Old Trafford last year, Stevie, or the season before, where he's more than capable of holding his own. The problem I have is that how quickly you're going to progress him if he's only going to play once every 3 or 4 games. That's the issue I have. I would be more inclined to do what we're doing with Finlay Curtis, trying to get the boy a deal. Do what we did with Finlay Curtis, put him out on loan, let him prove himself elsewhere, so that he can go down there, say if it's Kilmarnock or Dunfermline or wherever it may be, and he can go down and get lots of game time, prove himself in the man's game, because that's what it is. Ultimately, it's the man's game that he's got to prove himself in. And that's where I look at it and say, has he done that yet? No, he hasn't. Last season, he was very unfortunate, but it's no coincidence the amount of managers that we've had over the last few years who have all turned around and said the same thing about Bailey Rice, and that is that he's not progressed at the rate he should have done. Now, Rangers need to take the majority of responsibility for that. As a club, we do, and they really do. And that may be where Rangers are looking at it and saying that, we have not done the job well with this young kid. We've taken him from Motherwell. He's a Rangers fan. His family are a Rangers family. We all know that, and that's why he's here. And nothing would make me happier than for Bailey Rice to prove to everybody that he can come of age and play for Rangers. The issue he's going to have is getting enough minutes here. So I'm kind of with you, Stevie. I would probably be very inclined to get him on a 2 or 3 year deal and actually say to him, look, first 6 months, we're going to put you on loan and see how you come back, in January, see how you are. And then we'll make a decision, and we'll try and make sure that you're up to speed for not this season, but the season after, to come in and play for Rangers. because I think he has the ability to do it.
Yeah, coming up on Four Lads this week, folks, we have a show every single night. Kenny and I live tonight. Then tomorrow it is Rob and Davey, I think it is. They recorded and they'll be out tomorrow night. And then Wednesday, Kenny and I are back. Thursday it is a week in history. I think it's me and Davey that are up on Thursday night to talk about that week in history. Friday night show, Amrit and the boys will be back. Saturday is Heart and Health, which is Cheryl's new venture, along with James from Heart and Hand. So it's like a joint kind of venture between the two podcasts. They're talking about mental health, and it's something a bit different, talking about addictions and stuff like that. Something that Davey Edgar and I will be participating on in the next couple of weeks as well. And then on Sunday, the Sunday show is back. It was my want that Four Lads would be able to produce a show nearly every night, and we're just about getting there. So we really hope you enjoy the content that we give you, folks. In the top corner of the screen, I think it's over there, yep, up there somewhere, you can see the QR code. If you want to join the podcast and become a member for as little as 99 pence, you are helping us. Everything that you give us will go towards sponsorship of Rangers and stuff like that. And here's the bit. Hopefully people don't mind this. Rhino Express, Clydeview Fire Protection and Joinery, CSD Air Conditioning will all be leaving us as sponsors in the next couple of weeks. Their deals run out. It's been magic help. Jim and the team at Rhino, Ian and the team at Clydeview, and Carlo at CSD, everything they've done for us. Basically, the money they've gave us has helped us sponsor Rangers. Our sponsorship of Rangers for advertising and players goes to £6,000 a year, and we try to give that to the club. So hopefully we can manage to raise that this summer. That's the incentive for us to try and do that, to try and be able to support the club, which is where our kind of money and things go. So we hope you're enjoying what we do here, Kenny, and hopefully if anyone's interested in becoming our new sponsors and helping us out, please get in contact at fourladsadream at gmail.com. 4 is spelt 4, not the number, and hopefully we can get some new sponsors and continue what we do for Rangers.
Yeah, of course. And I want to thank all the sponsors. They've done a fantastic job for us, and I hope it's worked for them as well as it's worked for us at the end of the day. But as is the same with all walks of life, Stevie, people move on and people have different things to do with their money. It's that simple. So all we can do is thank the current sponsors for just now. We are out networking. We are trying. We're going about it. We're trying to do bits and bobs to see where we're at. We've got a few things in the fire, as it were. So I'm quite confident we'll get this dealt with, Stevie. But it is one of them that a little bit of laziness on my part, I'll be fair, that it's kind of crept up on me all of a sudden in the last couple of weeks, and they'll go, shit, we need to deal with that because we've known this for a long time and I've not bothered my backside. So I'm now at it. So we'll get it dealt with, mate. But as I say, thanks to every single sponsor we have because they've done a great job for us.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. Hopefully, we'll be able to get some new ones and continue to support the club. It is something we like to do. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's all for tonight's show. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back, as I said, live on Wednesday. You do have a show on the network every night this week. Tuesday it is Davey and Rob. I'm sure it's Rob and Davey. And they're Kenny, jump in here and tell me what it is they've recorded. I need you to help me.
It's the Rangers years or whatever it is that it's called. I can't remember, mate. I'm recording it tomorrow. We've got too much going on, mate, to remember everything. But it's a week in history, isn't it?
No, the week in history is Thursday night. That's Davey. That's me.
I'm recording that tomorrow night. So.
You're recording that tomorrow for that one, and I'm out with Davey this week. and I cannot remember what they're doing, but there is a show. That's awful, isn't it? There is a show tomorrow, and it's talking about Rangers. It'll be something to do with Rangers. Kenny and I are back Thursday. History show. Kenny and I are back Wednesday. History show on Thursday. Live show Friday. Heart and Health will be on Saturday night, and live show Sunday. Aye. I should really do some more research. Anyway, folks, thanks for joining us. Have a terrific couple of days. We'll be back with hopefully more transfer news, hopefully more Rangers news, and everything from the earlier time, 5:45 on Wednesday. We're always a wee bit earlier now. But thank you, everybody, for your support. Can anybody introduce you, Pierre, to Excel spreadsheets? It would be remiss of me not to say that I work in HR and I deal with them every single day. Maybe I'm just not very good. I try my best. Folks, have a wonderful couple of days. We'll see you again on Wednesday night. Take care. Bye for now.
The Four Lads podcast is sponsored by Rhino Express, Clydeview Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions Limited, and CSD Air Conditioning, in partnership with Black Rooster and Art of Gold. Thank you for listening to or watching the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show.